First off, I'd like to thank Talking About Games for doing a reply to my last video, and also pointing out about how vague I was about the terminology I was using. And in this video, I hope to clarify that at least a little bit. There's a difference between, at least to me, there's a difference between rushing or jumping ahead than fast forwarding or skipping. I'll give small, like 4 instances for each of those. Rushing ahead is usually against a perceived time limit. Just a quick, for instance, guy stumbles into the bar where you and your party are, celebrating whatever, probably your last successful mission or whatnot, and he claims that he's the survived walking the plank from his captain. And he'll tell you where the captain hides his treasure, but the captain's paranoid. So who knows, he might think I'm still alive and double back and go to move the treasure, but in the meantime I can tell you where it is for the small price of 100 gold. I just need the money to get out of here like as soon as possible. After, incurring several sense motive checks, you guess that he's on the level. Well, at this point, your party's like, well, we could kick around and just enjoy the rest of the night, and don't worry about provisions, we could probably get that next week. But the perceived time limit is that we gotta hurry up, because if the captain's as paranoid as he thinks he is, then we have no idea how much time we have. It's like it could be a race right now, but we're not sure, so it's best to hurry. In which case, everybody just blasting around as fast as you can to get everything done, to get your provisions, and get on the road and get to the destination. That's choice. And in that case, that's rushing, and that's perfectly fine. Jumping I refer to as a positive term. Sometimes I alternate the words jumping and skipping. It's a little bit confusing. But in my mind, jumping ahead is more like if you're, in my last video I alluded to, like if you're performing a mundane task that's going to take some time. Wizards, copying spells, forging a suit of plate armor. It's going to take time, and it's a lot of very monotonous work. That doesn't have anything to do with anybody interacting with really anybody else. They're just performing said task. It's like, that's usually when the player says something like, I'll be doing this till morning, or I'll be doing this until, I pass out from exhaustion with pen in hand. Which means he's not really interacting with anybody. He's just performing said task. And that's jumping. And those two are, in my mind, very acceptable reasons for wanting to, let's get this done now, or skipping ahead just because it's, mundane task doing the other thing. But so let me jump over to fast forwarding. Fast forwarding is when you have a journey ahead of you, or let's take the for instance that I was in, which was we were all the way over in I think Missouri, and our cairn, or werewolf headquarters, our cairn was all the way over almost by Colorado Springs, and they just wanted to moonbridge it back, which would take so short a time to get back. But I'd rather take the longer route. We just got done with a moot, so we've got plenty of people there to guard the place, so that place is getting along plenty without me. Me and the rest of the group, for that matter. So I figure, there's several big towns along the way, including Kansas City and St. Louis, and all kinds of fun places. And you can stop by there and you can make some contacts. You can inflate, or if you're really fond of gambling, deflate your resources. Maybe even make some allies to take back with you. You never know what's going to happen. And with a good game master, anything can happen. So, but instead of just wanting to fast forward ahead just to get back to the cairn, so you can do more mundane tasks or whatever, instead of really feeling the flavor of the game that you're in. I don't know. It feels cheap to me. Blasting through everything while not wanting to explore a imaginary world that your game master puts you in. I mean, if not for that, you could play World of Warcraft or something, to where you could just see everything and explore everything and blast through things as fast as you want. Who cares? I play World of Warcraft, why not? But the other thing is, players that usually really like to do that also usually power grab, are power grabbing. Now let me define what I mean there. A player will keep doing things off to the side that require usually no one's help. But when everybody else has to go do something, he's right there. Well, how could you be right there? Let's say, the wizard. I pick on wizards and I play wizard, so whatever. Let's say a wizard says he's spending the rest of the night, copying spells. I found this other spell book, ha ha ha, copying spells. And everybody else is like, well, it's like 7 o'clock. Let's go to the bar. So suddenly the ranger, the fighter, the cleric, and everybody else, he could be a cleric of Bacchus, hey, don't judge him. But he goes, they all decide to go to the bar and have fun. Well, the player hears how much fun you're having, and he don't want to be left out the loop. So somehow all of his spells still get copied, but he decides to go ahead and show up there anyway. And it's like, yeah. I, as a GM, I catch stuff like that. And it's like, oh, well, so you're stopping copying your spells. And you're going there. Oh, well, I'll go ahead and finish that up. Well, you won't have time to go to the bar then. It's like you need to pick which one or more. But people that power grab, and it's real easy to, it sounds like something utterly disastrous, like power grabbing. Or perverse. But anyway, that's really not. It's just a habit that players get into because they want to be where the fun's at, which there's no harm in that. I mean, a lot of people want to be where the fun's at. But to say that you're getting this done and that you're also doing that, shifty. Aside from that, also skipping. Right, try to keep this under 2 minutes. Skipping is when, you're going from point A to point C, but there's a point B right there, which is the town. You're traveling, you come across the town. Does anybody do anything? No? Skip it. You go on to point C. It's a town. Sometimes it's really, alright, fuck 10 minutes. You're probably not going to interact too much, but you never know what you run into. And a lot of this has to do with the methods in which case I use when I run. So, and I don't hold anybody to the same standard. It's just what I like. I like story. If you give me story, I'll be a good little boy. I'll shut up. But, but yeah, it's like you have the chance for a lot of good things in that little town, but you just skip over it, and it's like a lot of missed opportunities there. And props to talking about games that he said that, you know, that originally it was going to be like I think he said like an 8-month game, but he was turning it into like, you know, possibly a year and a half with all the, you know, little side quests he could do and stuff like that. And props for him for doing that, because I think deadlines stifle creativity. I mean, really, I've heard that from a lot of musicians, as well as, you know, kind of adopting it to my own personal philosophy. It's like, if you set a deadline for when a game's got to end by, you're really limiting yourself, really. So talking about games, good luck with your game, man. I really hope it goes well. And so far, my game's off to a pretty stellar start. I look depressed while I'm saying that. I'm just thinking about the next session, which is tomorrow night. So, work to do. But yeah, and in closing, I'll go ahead and add the caveat of last time. I seem to, I don't want players to take it the wrong way, that I'm sitting there going, well, if you just, you know, like to roll dice. Some people like you know, dungeon runs. Some people like it, and it's like, it's not my thing, but that's the cool thing about, you know, having the books and, you know, running the game the way you like, you know. And there's, in my games, it's a lot of social, and it's a lot of like social situations and big cities and political maneuverings and all kinds of stuff, and that's how I like to run. But if people like dungeon crawls, it's like, you know, I just started on Roll20, and that's where my game's at. And Roll20 is a good system. I still got a lot to learn about it, but it's a good system. And if you're looking for just a, you know, I like to swing swords and whatnot, and go on a game like that, then, you know, you can find that on Roll20. But that's why I make sure when I made sure when I advertised for my game, I was like, hey, this is going to be really social. If you're looking for a dungeon crawl, this ain't it. This ain't what you're looking for. I was like, you're looking for, you know, anywhere else but right here. So, and seems like my players really like what I put together so far. So, gotta start by setting the bar pretty high. So, but yeah, in closing, I'll say thank you for checking out my videos. And, you know, originally I was talking about driving and stuff, and now I'm talking about games. So this channel's gonna be all over the place. You know, I'll label the videos or something. But thanks for checking out my videos, and I hope this helps out some players as far as thinking about what they want to do in a game and how they want to approach interactions in a game. And I'm also going to probably make a short video series on how I like to run and the methods that I use that could probably help some other game masters have a method for generating NPCs that, you know, feel actually relatable. The more relatable the NPCs are and the more personality they seem to have, then it really allows, I think, the characters to be able to have a strong personality in either contrast or right alongside with. So, but I'll tackle that in another video. Thanks a lot, guys, and thanks for listening. Play good. Bye, public.